light every corner. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. My ego don't come. My people make we shout. My ego don't come. My ego don't come, man of the masses. My ego don't come. My ego die the political. My ego don't come. This one not day off in mind. My ego don't come. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Mayegun don't come. My people make you shout. Mayegun don't come. Man of the masses. Mayegun don't come. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun la wa mo la mo do. Mayegun diary number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. And this is Mayegun Live.
Glory Facebook, glory YouTube.
Take your time and read the caption of the broadcast and then get yourself settled into this. Is also going to be an interesting night. Hopefully.
Thank you.
These past few days, to me, apart from the level of kind of desperation to prove something, that's what I saw in this whole thing a few days ago, especially yesterday, when Tinubu tweeted supposedly from London, and he said people were saying that he is dead, that he is not dead. I didn't read that anywhere that anybody said that Tinubu is dead or anything at all. So he tweeted that they said he is dead and he's withdrawing from the race. So to debunk that, they had to share old video, to the point that they shared a 9-year-old video to prove something. People got wind of that and they exposed that, like, what are you guys hiding? Afterward, they also started sharing their pictures, photographs, supposedly of Tinubu in London. Again, people also discovered the lies in that. At the end of the day, not just that, while the people who are supposed to be speaking or telling you where your candidate is, not as if to say we really care, but I'll tell you why you should really care at some point, right? So they were asking the handlers in Nigeria, where is Kolu? Where is he? What happened? We know that they couldn't tell. They had no contact with him. And defending his absence, as you know, is becoming so ridiculous. Like, it's looking so embarrassing and all that. So today, he tweeted another one. This time around, he's holding a newspaper. Then also pictures of himself and his grandchildren. All of these people, the usual FBI, all of them are turned to FBI on social media, digging things out and all that. to the point that they had to say, well, you know what? At least, not that he's bedridden and all that, okay? He just came here for his normal check, jag, in preparation for the travel to and fro for your campaign and all that. He is not sick yet, like a bedridden. So let's return him back. So they returned him back to you. And when he returned back to Nigeria, I mean, he came back in this, suits as usual. So tonight, there is something I mean, apart from all the laughs, after all the memes, after all of that, there is something I also want you to possibly pay attention to. It not that really matters, so to say, but sometimes what you think is not really doesn't really matter actually does matter at the end of the day. You know what I observed is this: apart from the desperation, the lies, the difficulty of selling Tinubu, I've discovered that those around Tinubu, I don't know if you have observed that, those around him, yeah, they kind of either out of a sheer incompetence, handling him, right, or they are just out to completely embarrass him. Now, look at this. There's nobody. There's no pressure. In my own opinion, there shouldn't have been any pressure of them trying to prove that Tinubu is ill and nothing, like he's alive, he's fine. They wanted to prove that. Now, they had to adopt this style. You remember this man? Yeah, this was 2015. You get that now, 2014, 2015, when they were packaging Boko for you. Remember that? So they came back with something similar. Now, they told you it might be an old man. It might be a megad. You get that now? It might be a man with NEPA bill certificates. But listen, he's going to be the best president you've ever had. That was 2014, 2015. 7 years ago, precisely, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that same style is back, because that's the reason why I believe, if you check this picture again, do you recognize this face? The guy that is dressing Boko up is the current youth leader of APC, Egbekegbe Dayo, Israel, I believe. It is called packaging. Now them package Boko. Who told you that they can't package Tinubu enough that you go don't buy them? They call it buyer's remorse. You buy them, Now when you get to the house and you open it up, you're like, wait, not buy. But you know what you are actually buying, by the way, in the name of one Nigeria. So they decided to put up that same stunt. First, they sent this. I don't know if you have seen that. Anyway, let me see. There's this one that they had to send people to him in London to make it look like they are chatty and all that. But look at this one. It's like a family one. They did same for Boko as well. So these are Sheyi's grandchildren. These pictures were uploaded by Sheyi himself. Look at that tie. Okay, Sheyi Tinubu. Okay, so look at that tie. All this to prove that, look at him now. See now, city boy. What you guys want again? And all that stuff. Nobody pressured them to do all of this. I don't see any pressure other than his absence when he was supposed to be around, right? To pull his weight and everything that, all as usual. But he was absent. Then suddenly all these pictures started popping up on social media. Then this one too popped up. Bum. Right? So nobody asked them to upload anything to prove that Tinubu is fine, is this or that, or is part of the packaging. Now people have to be like, hey, wait, this picture, looks like the same tie is wearing here. And if there's anything that gave this up when they went back onto, Google picture, it was actually the newspaper. Yeah, the newspaper is reading is this. And it was in January 2022. Now, they said Tinubu was in London, Olodo. I even did a broadcast the day he left Nigeria. You remember he was away for about 3 to 4 months. He came back in January. Sure, you remember, to come and tell Boko that he wants to be president. That was in January. By the 17th, 18th of January, he was back in the UK. Yes, he was back here. Now, this is the newspaper he's holding. That's the one that gave him up. And they're like, maybe it's just, can you not hold, old newspaper? Yeah, what is, all that. So the thing is the thing here is this. If you look at this tie, it is this same dress. The day they were taking this picture was the day they were taking this. They took this as well. Now, the reason why I'm actually sharing this is that what is the pressure when you look at all the videos of Tinubu, all the videos where Tinubu speak like normally, they are like 10 years, 15 years, 17 years old videos. Throwback. Now, just like Boko Haram, remember, these were the same people who were telling you what Boko Haram would do in Nigeria, how Boko Haram will change Nigeria, how he's going to make $1 naira to $1, how he's going to bring your pump per liter fuel down to 40 naira per liter, how they are going to give you graduates who have no job. They will be giving you employment allowance and the rest of that. All those promises, many of them, Boko Haram didn't say them by himself. They were said by these vuvuzelas. Most of them controlled by what they stand to benefit from these rots. The consequences of that today is not being borne by them alone. You are bearing same as well, aren't you? Even when you didn't follow them in their change nonsense. Now, for Boko Haram, he never promised anything per se. He just repeats whatever all of you have been already, saying. That is why today Boko Haram is never going to stand or take responsibility for anything. So you might be wondering why. His wife said that he suffered PTSD after the civil war. Person will no fight civil war. Aisha came out and said her husband was abandoned by the military after his arrest, after his release from prison. Yeah. When the Babangida removed him. Aisha said Boko Haram suffered PTSD, mental health problem, something so bad that she only had to suffer it inside. As a teenager, she was a 17-year-old girl, she said, and became officially his wife when she turned 18. She said, PTSD. That is why Boko Haram never take responsibility. And when you look at APC, now this jobless, unemployable Oceans are the ones making all the noise, all the promises. They will do this, they will do that, they will, all that stuff. This Tinubu cannot say them by himself. The last time they asked him, unemployment in Nigeria, Tinubu, what do you think? He said, 33% unemployed. Recruit. 50 million youth. So, if Boko Haram never told you what he would do, like defended it or even explained to you how he was going to do it. Now, these vuvuzelas were doing the explanation. Now, let's go back to that Boko Haram, because Boko Haram was never ferried abroad for medical treatment up and down before they sold you the lies and the bobo of change. Remember, but when the alarm blew, and Boko Haram ended up in London, remember those who were the court clowns, court jesters, who were explaining to you why there was nothing wrong for the president of Nigeria to be under the knives of foreign doctors in a foreign land. They are not even like, they are not ashamed of that. I remember when Femi Okonu Adesina was seeing Boko Haram off too. They said he was going for medical checkup. Baba, now over 100 days, Bokwari went. Nigeria went down the drain and never recovered, even to tomorrow. So just a little flashback before we celebrate the return of a Kolu. We want him to speak, say what waiting some of you are, you know what I mean? Because whatever you are saying, these charlatans, they were better than you in 2017. Do you remember this?
Okay, so Nigerians may wonder why the sudden visit to London by the president for medical checkup at the moment.
Well, anything that has to do with health cannot be described as sudden. When it comes, it comes. You know that since the president came back in August 2017 from his medical vacation then, his health has held on very well. Last year it's doubtful whether he went out. So if it is time to do it now, then it's time to do it.
But there's nothing to worry about.
No, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing to worry about. We believe that as it's going now, he will do all the necessary checks and everything will be all right, and he will be back within the second week of April, as has been said in our statement. You know that when it has to do with health, we can presume. There is nobody who can say he is 100% healthy. If there's anybody like that, he should stand up to be counted. Somebody who says, I don't need checkup, I don't need anybody to look at my health, I am perfect from head to toe. That person should then stand up to be counted. So if our president at 78 is going for medical checks, I think there's nothing out of the ordinary in that. Thank you.
I wonder why the sudden London visit by the president for medical checkup?
Well, two things. One is that the president is looking at the window of opportunity that has opened with the Easter holiday. It's a much relaxed period for everyone. Good Friday, Easter Monday, national holiday. So then, using that period to do his regular medical checkup. This is something he has done for so many years, even before he came to office. Every year he had appointment with his doctors and he went there to do it. The only anomaly this time around was that COVID prevented this kind of trip throughout 2020. So he has lost some period. The last time he was there, more than 1.5 years back. But so he's using that opportunity to do what is regular in his own life. There is nothing like urgency or medical emergency or any new ailment of any sort. He's just fine and he's doing well.
Very, very shameless people. So that should have been the video that should have come next after the one I should have shown you first, but it doesn't make any difference. This was Bokwari after spending 100 days in London, and a year and a half after, that's the third time returning to London. But when he went for that far away and everything went down the drain and he returned back, I mean, this was the image back then, just after we kind of chased him out of London. I remember that day where we captured his flight leaving Stansted back to Nigeria. Just quick one. Sorry. And when it got to Nigeria, this is what it looked like. Just a a reminder. Now, I don't know if you remember what the trauma was. I mean, for a country, right? And how fast Nigeria degenerated because of its own deteriorating health and every other thing they are keeping away from you. I mean, even if you know if you get Stockholm syndrome, that you kind of, sometimes you should, like they say, you should talk to your own inner worms. Àrùn inú ẹ kó má bá àrùn inú ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ǹkọ̀ọ̀kan pé wà tó bá tiẹ̀ ń ṣe mí ṣé ó yẹ kí n tún máa ṣé kò tiẹ̀ kí n máa borí ara mi ro gan self ni ibo ni gbogbo láìfẹ́ ń lọ báyìí with all these characters. Just saying. From that 2017 to today, whatever took Boko to London, whatever it was that they couldn't treat in Nigeria, that they had to fly him 6 hours down to the UK to this day, that hasn't encouraged them to invest more in their own healthcare in Nigeria. Number one, to at least serve as the first aid to safeguard their own lives too, rather than flying down to the UK. So the Tinubu zone is so sudden. Do you get that? It is so sudden. Tinubu is not well. Now, don't let anybody blackmail you about being well or not well, okay? I am not mocking anyone, and there is no one that cannot fall sick. Do you get that? It is I'm not going to say sickness is normal, but any one of us can actually fall ill. You can be ill. It can be terminal. You can have a sickness. I can have a sickness that can be terminal, even as young as I am. Do you get that? And in most cases, every illness has its own cure once you have access to the very good care. Now, that good care is not available in Nigeria. I mean, some of you will say, listen, you will say, Baba Gbagbe, there are better hospitals here. They are just private and very expensive. That's part of the lies you tell yourselves. There is a difference between, having private practices, right, with their own little resources, right, that are always going to be inadequate, never enough, compared to a government that really invests in healthcare, which is for all. That's different from private. You know that. Now you have to go and queue somewhere to do scan because your government couldn't provide one in any of your government hospitals. And if wherever they are provided, they are inadequate or completely broken down. You know that. So you can't know that Nigeria more than your politicians, your leaders. Do you get that? Their friends, their own friends, are the doctors who own those practices. Do you know that? They issue those certificates to all of them. The ones you want to use as to cover up for the failures of these criminals. And it's not just their failure. It is the heartlessness and selfishness. Now, if you have not seen it through that angle, well, I don't know what angle you are looking at it from. These guys are not well. That is not even motivating them to invest more in the health care, which can take care of them and you, and at the same time, somehow cut down the cost of health tourism, or what do you call it? Is it called health tourism? United Kingdom is making a kill from the Nigerian politicians and Nigeria elite, your rich men. But here you are. You are going to abuse me. You are going to attack me. You're going to call me names simply because I'm saying something that should get you thinking. You know that. But you're not thinking because you're not probably made to think. It's difficult, isn't it? Just try. Reason. Just reason. Even a dead clock is right twice in a day. AM and PM. Maybe twice in a day. Get your sense back and use them to think. Just think. It costs you a lot of money. They don't care. They are sick. They are not motivated to invest in your Medicare because whatever is wrong with them, there are many, if not millions of people who are suffering whatever they are suffering, but they can access the best medical care abroad. The same medical care I would access, whatever. I'll keep saying that to you. I keep saying it. You might see me as somebody you don't like. I don't care. If you love your oppressors, well, that's your problem. But here is something. I am not your enemy. You know that. The same medical care that your criminal leaders come here for and pay in pound sterling is the same medical care my family, myself, we have access to. Why can't you have access to the same in Nigeria? Now, if they didn't care before, okay, like let's say, not be everybody they fall sick, Abi. There are young of them who probably are not sick, okay, and they come here too. So they've never experienced the system and how it works, Abi. But what about these old men that are dying? They are old. They are going. None of them can live for the next 50 years. All of you watching me right now that are still in your own 20s, there is a possibility that many of us are still going to live for another 40, 50 years. None of these guys will live for that time. Now, what will be that legacy that you watching me right now that have no access to real medical care in Nigeria? You don't have access to it. And wherever they are available, you can afford them. But look at them. You are praying for them to get better. I mean, I remember the dramas of 2017 still. If you forgot him, I mean, let me play this for you again. Your future president of Nigeria, this is what you are going to have to live with again.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. We are all over the place.
Thank you very much, sir. It was an exciting moment of hope and fulfillment as President Muhammadu Buhari welcomes the presidential media team led by the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, at the Abuja House in London.
I see you every evening in the press.
Thank you
it's very good.
Thank you very much, sir.
At least by the press you are working very hard.
The team include the Presidential Media Advisor Femi Adesina, the Senior Special Assistant to the President Media and Publicity Garba Shehu, the Personal Assistant Online Media Loretta Onoche, as well as the Senior Special Assistant on Diaspora Matters Abike Dabri Erewa. For about 1 hour, the team interacted freely with President Muhammadu Buhari on his health condition and other wide range of issues on the nation's well-being. When the team expressed delight about his much improved health, President Buhari retorted, and I quote, "I feel I could go home, but the doctors are now in charge and I have now learned to obey orders." When told about the fervent prayers for him within and outside Nigeria, a delighted President Muhammadu Buhari was full of appreciation and prayed God to reward them abundantly. As he puts it, what we did in the Gambia early this year fetched us a lot of goodwill on the African continent. It gave us a lot of latitude. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, speaks about his impression.
The president is very much back. He's very healthy and has not lost his sense of humor at all. We're leaving London very elated, very excited because we met our president in very good health. He has spoken to us. We exchanged banters, and I think we can't ask for more.
People would like to know, when is he coming back to Nigeria?
Yes, he has said that now he has learned to obey orders. Mr. President is a retired general. He was the one who used to issue the orders. But now the shoe is on the other foot, and he's the one that must obey orders. So he says he must obey the orders of his doctors. So we look forward to the doctors giving him the green light to proceed to Nigeria.
So we just appeal to Nigerians to continue to pray for Mr. President. He's going to come back, inshallah, to Nigeria to continue what he's been doing. And right now, there's really no vacuum. And Mr. President is happy about that the fact that the acting president is doing the job with all diligence and responsibility.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, used the opportunity to present a Get Well Soon card to the President, signed by all the ministers, for which he was appreciative and hoped to be with them and indeed Nigerians soon. From London, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
So that's the kind of news you have to get used to, okay? When Tinubu becomes your president, he would have to come here for his medical checkup. So the rest of you will have to keep praying for him to return back safely. And then you'll also be praying you'll be praying against his enemies, like you have been doing for Boko. You remember that time? There are many of you here, as poor as the church rats, walking your asses off, but yet you are living like the wretched. You know that. You know yourselves. You are watching me right now. Your parents are the ones out there right now, also like a gearing support for the oppressors that have stolen your future. So, all the enemies of Buhari would die. Everybody that said Buhari would die, they have been dying, Look at that one that said Buhari is dead. He's dead, though. Look at, all of you, that's what you have to do for the next 4 years or 8 years when Tinubu become your president. It's so sad anyway, but I mean, you would have to kind of get yourself prepared for that too. Enemies of Tinubu, our president is going to come back alive. Everybody that is saying that, because suddenly you will use the next 4 years, okay, to be fighting the imaginary enemies of Tinubu, while your life continue to what? To fritter away. Ask those who have now become even poorer, wretched in the last 7 years, jobless. And then I can't tell you to ask those who have been killed or kidnapped yet. It will be like I'm mocking them. I'm saying the effort and all of that make you think everyone who is speaking up, standing up against these criminals, is an enemy of your oppressor. So you are going to spend the next 4 years or 8 years praying for Tinubu not to die. Then you will also be praying against and cursing his enemies, because according to you, that will be your goal. I mean, ask the Buhari idiots. I mean, you guys are the same anyway. So you're just going to have to switch allegiance. I don't know who have to force them. You know that video? That video was them trying to prove to everybody that Buhari is alive. I don't know how much of that you have forgotten anyway. I don't know. Insincere people, dishonest people. And according to this guy who knows them very well, and then, what's that guy's name again? Abba. You remember him? APC.
APC is a grand fraud. Expert liars. They are first-class propagandists. They thrive on propaganda. They have spent so much money on media to cover them up.
He's one of them. I think when he got beaten, he had to come out and say, well, guys, you have no idea who you are dealing with. But you will soon find out as well. So, back to Nigeria. The first person they asked was Festus Otobo Keyamo. Festus, if we ask you, when last did you speak to your candidate? Because you are the spokesperson for the campaign. What's going on? Festus, where is Tinubu?
Who are genuine like you, I think you should be satisfied when a spokesperson for a campaign council comes to sit on set to say, well, as at this morning, I got information is hail and hardy. That should be enough for you. You should not. If you probe further, it is mischief.
No, I'm not mischievous. I'm just concerned. Have you spoken to him? Have you spoken to the candidate himself? Your
Okay,
candidate.
let me let the cat out of the bag. I spoke with Sheyi. The son is with him, and the son said, "Oh, daddy is sleeping." Also, he's okay, and that is the son. I'm speaking.
Daddy is sleeping. That is okay. Sheyi, my namesake. So many young people are looking at you and say, oh my Lord, God bless Sheyi Yesha. Oh dear. Well, I mean, in the Nigerian context, it's going to be your Yusuf Buhari. And this time around, this one get job. In the empire of his father, he is a strong, very, very powerful stakeholder. You underrate him or you look down on him at your own peril. In fact, he is the master strategist for his father's president. So you can imagine what Sheyi will be like when Tinubu become president. More vibe and inshallah. You go see him. He's such a powerful guy in Lagos as we speak. Now, anyway, that's just on the side. Sheyi told Keyamo, Daddy is sleeping. I said, let the cat out of the bag. But when they ask the women leader for APC, a former House of Rep member, Jumoke Okoya Thomas, Madam, come, Biko, where is Ashiwaju? You fit tell us.
When is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, your candidate, expected back? This meeting that he's holding in London,
I'm a woman
is
leader.
it going to be a long, permanent meeting?
He will show up very soon. And I tell you,
how soon?
Within the next 48 hours, I know the Ashiwaju, he's never spent more than 2 weeks outside. Go and check, go and Google. Even my little self here, when I'm not well, I quickly run out to take a rest.
Not well? Are you confirming that he's not well?
I am not saying he's not well. I said my little self here. When I need to rest, I will quickly go out.
But why can't you rest in Nigeria?
You go out.
How
you go out. We all go out.
Do you have the evidence?
We all go out.
Do you have a copy of my international
people
passport?
Calling me. I take a break from people knocking on my house. Help me. On my doors.
But before we go, because of mother and child, I'm talking about childhood mortality is very high in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
All right? 1 in every 13 Nigerian child born dies before they get to the age of 1.
You see, one thing you
Please,
keep
quickly,
doing,
as we wrap up.
I'll do that. One thing, you keep making reference to what is happening outside of this country. Rome was not built in a day. They are having their issues. The strongest dollar, the strongest currency today is dollar in the world. They took over from Stalin. Stalin is struggling after dollar today.
No, but it's 1-to-1 again now. In fact, the Stalin has beat the dollar now.
When I was schooling in England, do you understand? 1.4 was what we were getting. Not struggling, So what I'm saying is, they put a man on that seat, Biden. Do you understand? They call him old, rickety, and all the rest. You know what? There's something in his brain. That thing that is in his brain is what is giving them a stronger currency and a stronger nation. And that is what Ashiwaju will give us.
Anyway, okay, we have to go. At least we have one take-home assignment.
Eshe.
Oh dear, no, that one is women leader. Eshe, thank you. Some said, now, social media is a mad place sometimes, okay? So, meanwhile, let's credit of those videos still goes to Arise TV. So let me tell them, may they know, go report my channel. The credit is theirs. But the purpose of that clip is for the educational, illustrational purposes. So, which is what we are doing now. She's the Yaloja. They said you built mother and child maternity ward. Can you tell us where and where? Madam no fit talk. They are APC, Egbekegbe. People living inside slum in Lagos, they will be beating their chests and tell you Tinubu built Lagos, and they are living in slums. So slums of Ikorodu, slums of Oshodi, slums of Ajegunle, slums of Epe, and slums of Isaleko, slums of Lekki, slum of Victoria Island, slums. They live there, but they are so proud of their mega slum, a place where they have no real hospital that could take advantage of the health tourism, the over 500 million pounds that Nigeria pay out to take care of your thieving criminal leaders all over the place. 500 million pounds. UK is making a lot of money from you. And that could have been, taken advantage of, where if you have a serious system that ruled a place for 23 years. But, hey, as small if you talk about before everybody begin to come out cloth. Somebody said that, tell us also about Peter Obi. Tell us about all the bad thing about Peter Obi. I said, well, you probably are doing that yourselves. You know why? When we get to the Obi, Atiku, and the rest of them, they receive their bash according to their contribution to what you are. But you see, this APC, the irresponsible you, who never take responsibility for anything, pointing fingers from your own failure. Nah, you will be held responsible. Everyone will hold you on. Now, shame you no get. That is why after the failure of 2015 to 2019, 2019 to now, your shamelessness is making you ask for fairness. Now, your shamelessness is still emboldening you because you have never taken responsibility. Not even any of your leaders take responsibility for what they have done to you, even you, including those who are their victims too. So they didn't know where he was. If you are sick, you go abroad and rest. Now the rich people, paradise be that. Now the poor people, they stay in Nigeria, go they drink agbo, and they queue about to collect money or even beg money at the general hospitals. If you go to general hospitals in Nigeria, you will see all these people who are going to queue together to defend your mothers, your fathers, who are going to queue together and bring back the people who ruined already and also ready to ruin your own offsprings too. They will be queuing in front of general hospital begging for money for treatment in this 21st century. And the same set of people are going to group around and say, hey, Aju, welcome back. Tinubu is back. Okay. So when he returned, the first reaction tonight, because it be like say everybody just say, wait, where in there? There's in this hospital, they plug up under the machine, if you talk, and all these things, oh, stop all this. There's no pressure, okay? It's back to you, and we can have a lot of memes in the next couple of days. If they allow him talk to people, don't just say he's back, oh. Let him go onto the screen and tell you, say it himself. All of you, Boromi Deleru, Alakpama Shishe, jobless rogues who are also freeloaders, pickpockets. Tinubu, when he's back now, you should let him say what he won't do and how he won't do. I mean, that's something I'm going to show you anyway. So when he got back today, they were so happy.
Welcome back, sir, Daddy. Welcome, Daddy.
Jagaban, Jagaban, I beg, make him go rest small so that tomorrow we go see him for video when they talk. It's part of the interesting period that I'm actually like waiting to keep in the diary. Put it in the diary. Put it in the diary and all that. I've told you, okay. We all have a lot to lose when we continue to play into the hands of these career criminals. One Nigeria is a ruse. It is from the figment, is the figment of the imagination of the owners. And whatever you are seeing today, they are not by any means an accident. Okay. So usually when I talk about these people, right, I talk about their public, services, their public involvement, and how their actions in public office and all that have affected the lives of the people positively or negatively. So I'm not really interested in their private life. I'm not really interested in their private businesses and all of that, except the one that is linked to the public office as well. You know what I mean? And if any one of them has committed any crime, the ideal thing is for those saddled with the responsibility of catching thieves and criminals to have done their job. Look at all the thieves everywhere. Do you get that now? So when you look at what these guys have done, now you talk about no hospitals. Oh, there's no really well-equipped hospital. People, doctors are not paid or well paid, and then another stuff, right? That have contributed to the degraded or degenerated states of the medical facilities in Nigeria. Now, all of them contributed to it too. Sure, you get now. And that is why they found the solace, they found the comfort elsewhere, which is outside Nigeria. So when they have to fund that luxury, that means they have to use the money that is meant for your medical, to provide medical, support, medical facilities for you as a people like me, they enjoy here in the UK. Now, that money is what they have to take to come and take care of themselves here, buy properties for themselves, buy for their children, their girlfriends, and buy for their different proxies as well. Open different proxies accounts that they are stashing your own money into. And all of that contributed, ended up with what? Creating a zoo like my Biafran brothers will always remind us, is a zoo. But we said, no. Nigeria is not a zoo. Okay? In fact, you are being unkind to zoo. In the zoo, if you go to the zoo, all species of animals, they are in orderliness. Do you get that now? Everyone hold their territories with respect and boundary. There is no disorderliness. There's no incessant, mass killings or genocide of monkey versus the leopards. They are fighting, so they don't do genocide. Gorillas and the lions, they are fighting. There's nothing like that. In the zoo, there is orderliness. There is no orderliness in Nigeria. You know that. Of course you do. So calling Nigeria zoo is being kind of unkind, or let me say disingenuous to the word zoo. Nigeria is worse than zoo. Do you get that now? Some of you became offended because they call Nigeria zoo. You should be thankful to them because that's actually a very, very decent, you know what I mean? But because Nigeria is not organic. You know that. You do or you don't. All right. Anyway, they chose to use your commonwealth to buy themselves comfort while they promise you a better life that they have no plan of giving to you. So it's your choice. Do you get that now? It's everybody's choice, okay? If you are following Obi, or you are following Tifnumbu, or you are following Atifku, in your Nigeria context, now mumu they do you if you think you are dragging yourselves and that is going to in any way make you different. No, it's not. You have no idea what is in that Nigeria. Now, let me talk about this public office. So, somebody said, tell us too about Obi. I said, well, I'll tell you what I heard or what I have as it's a factual in public. Do you get that now? Something that will make you cringe and say, wow, that's too much now. Kilo dirty. I was reading the news earlier before I came on. They said pensioners, they collapsed because they were protesting. They haven't been paid. Do you get that? The people who stole their money, they are the civil servants and the politicians and the bankers allowed by a system that they put in place that doesn't allow them, that would never get them exposed. And even if they are exposed, they would never be punished for it. It's the system. You get that now? So, hang on. I think, right. So the system that allows them to do that is not a system that you think from the blues. You can overturn as many of you, I think, but it's good to try, by the way. There's no harm in that. I picked up something and I said, how could the pensioners who worked for over 30 years in Nigeria be dying in this kind of poverty and wretchedness? They can't afford to pay for their own medical treatment. So many of them cannot even afford to feed. So they said some of them fainted. 4 of them fainted today. They were protesting that they are not paid. But somebody who served as a governor, a politician, for 8 years is entitled to this because he's a pensioner. You know, the number 1 pensioner in Lagos right now is Tifnumbu. After him is Fashola. After Fashola is Ambode. And I don't know who is going to be there. Maybe all the permanent secretaries. Now, look at this. Just in comparison, public service and all that. Forget about what they did, okay? Now, what they take for themselves from the system that gave you, listening to me right now, absolute nada. The system allowed that, when they say governors are receiving pension in Nigeria, do you know those who started it? There is no dose. The man who started this is who started the pension for governors in Nigeria is Tinubu, and he even made the law for it. Yeah, he made the law and he signed the law that gave him pension, all this pension, because he served as a governor. Anybody who served as a governor in Lagos State. So if your papa or your mama who served for 30 years or 35 years or 40 years, she's still begging to get a 45,000 or 50,000 naira pension that they won't even pay her anyway, right? Look at this. For Tifnumbu in Lagos, right? Say 300% of the annual salary as a severance package approved by 100% of the annual basic salary of incumbent governor salary for life. So Tifnumbu is receiving the salary of Sanwo-Olu as governor now. If Sanwo-Olu is receiving 10 million naira, Tifnumbu is collecting 10 million. If Sanwo-Olu is collecting 20 million, Tifnumbu is collecting it. Fashola is collecting it because of that law in Lagos, right? Now, for life, till they die. So a new house in Lagos, minimum of 5 bedroom. A new house in Abuja or any other location, minimum of 5 bedrooms. Free medical care for him and his family members for life. Do you get that now? For being governor, okay? Entitled to cooks, steward, gardeners, and domestic staff, all pensionable. Those who are even cooking his food, they will receive pensions from Lagos state government, right? And, 300% of his annual basic salary as governor every 2 years as furniture allowance. Now, 300% of the salary of Sanwo-Olu, let's say Sanwo-Olu is taking 20 million. So 300% of that is going to be 60 million. They will have to pay that every 2 years to Tinubu. Do you get that now? It is the law. They have to pay it. Do you get that? Now, then, and on like that. So when you look on your right, Anambra is not as rich as Lagos State. So, yeah, they probably will never have such money to give to their former governor. Do you get that? Today, more than 20 states in Nigeria, in fact, more than 26 states in Nigeria have signed the same law. They've made the same law in their impoverished states with their impoverished, underserved people. Yeah? They have made these laws themselves and they are collecting the same salary initiated by Tinubu. I just thought you should know, because if any other thing, right, I have no business with him and I have no business with any of them. But because of their involvement in and the effects, consequences of their actions in a way, it is always better to always set the record straight for the sake of those who will end up seeing them as, what do you call them? As leaders or heroes and all that stuff. Anyway, back in Nigeria, Tinubu is back. And as it is, we hope that the campaign can be put back in order and we can monitor how this explosion is going to go. Do you get that? So let's put that aside. Just 2 days ago, the Igbos in Lagos, they came together to endorse Asiwaju for president. There are stories, I've told you that, there are stories where people said, oh, they were intimidated, oh, they were harassed, oh, they were threatened, oh, they were bribed. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. There is video, or there are videos, there are clips where they pledged, and in fact, they are not just Igbos in Lagos. They are also APC members in Lagos as well, in their numbers. So it didn't last for just a few hours after that. Boom. Hey, they say Lagos state government rejected the proposal of these Igbo people who endorsed Tinubu in Lagos. They wanted 26 million naira for the endorsement party. And somebody said the Lagos state APC or the Lagos state government is giving them trouble. That's why they got the copy. That's why the copy made it to the public. Somebody said, who are you campaigning for? That's the problem. I am not campaigning and I will never campaign for any of you or any of the Orogish, whatever. We call it charade on Mayegun's Diary Political. But you see, on Mayegun's Diary Political, right, where I have stated my own position, which somehow today is not so popular among many of you who have caught the vibe, no, not the vibe, who have caught the